NFL news and rumors presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. Tom Downey, Mitchell Wren's going to break down the latest NFL news and rumors. You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. We had some breaking news about an hour ago. Doug Pederson has been fired by the Philadelphia, I almost said 76ers. The Eagles, Tom. Wild.
This is a bit of an unexpected development, mostly because of the timing. The season's been over for a week now. Who do they think they are? The Cowboys and Jason Garrett out there? Pederson met with owner Jeff Lurie, and I think at some level, and Pederson kind of said this as well recently, he was ready to move on. I don't think Pederson liked being the Eagles head coach for whatever reason. Maybe it's relationship with Howie Roseman, the GM. There was a report that Pederson didn't like being told what to do, which
that's
you're
a
not
you problem.
The full boss, which whatever. But if you're not working well with your GM, that leads to some issues there.
Absolutely.
So this is a firing technically. I think it's also we're going to agree to go our separate ways here.
Yeah.
Which makes Pederson, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most attractive candidates out there. He won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. And yes, Frank Reich gets credit as well, and some coaching staff on top of that. But that's very rare to see this happen. A coach who just won a head coach on his way out already, that's like a retirement there.
Yeah.
And the Philadelphia Eagles, by the way, are now playing catch-up. And unlike the rest of the NFL open jobs, there is not an established, reliable quarterback.
Not only not an established quarterback, I believe they have the second fewest in cap dollars. They're like minus 70 in the hole right now.
So
that's probably one of the worst openings right now that you could probably go out and get. I mean, it's not a job that I would want, and this is a tenure that went south very, very quickly. I don't want to just put it all on Jalen Hurts because I don't think that's fair, but am I the only one? As soon as the Jalen Hurts pick happened, Doug Pederson kind of seemed like a sourpuss where I don't think that he agreed with the Hurts pick.
I don't know who wanted Hurts. I don't know if Pederson wanted Hurts or wanted to play him at the end of the year. Whatever happened, things had become kind of a bit untenable for Philadelphia.
Agreed.
And from that perspective, I get moving on from Pederson. But in the bubble, just valuing the head coach, whoever you hire is not going to have the track record of Doug Pederson.
Agreed.
Now, it might end up being better, but I think in reality, there's a very good chance to end up hiring a worse coach.
So was this a good decision? Type G for good, or I want you to type B for bad. It's what we do here on Chat Sports. And if you got any Eagles fans out there, maybe you haven't heard of our Eagles channel, go subscribe to it. YouTube.com/Eagles now. G for good, B for bad. Was the decision good or bad to fire Doug Pederson? Let's talk about this guy, Deshaun Watson, who has just been popping up. News, rumors, is he getting traded? What's going to happen? We saw the report that he's very unhappy with the Texans, and honestly, man, I don't blame him. When he signed that record-breaking deal, he said, make me a part of your decision-making process.
And not only that, the Texans were like...
And they haven't done it.
The Texans were like, look, we'll let you...
Make those
offer
decisions.
Input. Not make them, but offer input. And it's not like, I don't think Watson wants to be the one who decides the head coach.
Sure.
But if you're a player and the organization says, hey, we'll let you have a voice in the process, no matter how small it is, and then they just don't listen to you.
Not only don't listen, you make one recommendation, Eric Bienemy, and he's the only coach that you're not bringing in.
Well, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I completely understand the frustration here. Now, look, he actually hasn't made that much money yet from the Houston Texans, so keep that in mind. So don't give me they had to trade away Hopkins. No, they didn't. I saw that take out there. They did not have to do that. From Watson's perspective, and I think in the end they'll find a way to get this, recovered or whatever. The Houston Texans were like, no, we don't want to interview Eric Bienemy. You know who they did, or at least expected to interview? David Culley. If you don't know who the hell that is, congrats, you have a life. That is the Ravens' assistant head coach. You're interviewing someone who is 65 years old and has never been a head coach. Pardon my language. What the hell is Houston doing?
Houston is turning into this laughingstock of the NFL.
This is a fundamentally bad process by Houston. And I understand why Deshaun's upset about that.
Absolutely.
With that in mind, if you're Watson, you probably are trying to be a better leader. Maybe you shouldn't let that leak out, which I think is a fair critique.
Absolutely.
On top of that, if you're Houston in the end, until the day Deshaun Watson walks into Cal McNair's office and says, F you, I want out, I'm never playing a snap again for this organization, you don't even listen to trade offers. Yeah. Now, if that moment comes, you'll get less back than what you would have, but you don't trade away Deshaun Watson if you're Houston. You do everything in your power to just be like, hey, let's be cool again. And that's the failure here. Like, there are a bunch of NFL teams, here's 5, for example, that'd be like, hell yeah, we'll take Deshaun. Here are all of our picks.
I mean, I would say just about every team minus the Chiefs, Seahawks, Ravens would probably be interested in trading for Deshaun Watson.
It might just be the Chiefs, in all honesty.
It might just be the Chiefs.
Now, there's some diminishing returns at some point there. But
absolutely. But, I mean, he's an up-and-coming young quarterback drafted in 2017. He can do it all. He led the NFL in passing yards, can rush.
The Bills.
Yeah, true. Also the Bills. So, what's going on? What do you think here with Deshaun Watson? Will the Texans end up trading him? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video, y'all. So when you come across this on YouTube, I want you to scroll on down and let us know in the comments section. Will the Texans trade Deshaun Watson? Type Y for yes or N for no. Let's get into some more NFL news here around Ben Roethlisberger and his future. So there's no doubt. I mean, they got off to a hot start, and then Pittsburgh really struggled down the stretch, losing 5 of their last 6 games.
Teams figured out
offense. They figured him out. I mean, they figured out that he just simply couldn't throw the football down the field. So he turns 39 in the offseason. He's already said that he wants to come back and play.
Yeah.
However, we've also done this same song and dance with Ben Roethlisberger, it seems, 3 or 4 times.
But when he says he's thinking about retiring,
he's come back.
That means come back. When he says he wants to come back, I think he's actually thinking about retiring here. So
I don't trust anything this man says.
Exactly, right? Now, look, he turns 39 in the offseason. Now, he's got 1 year left on his deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's a hefty cost. A $41.25 million cap hit. Even if he is retired or cut, and I don't think the Steelers could cut him. At this point, well, not even that. At this point, he means too much to the organization. You just let him ride it out as long as his contract is left. $22.25 million in dead money. So you're saving like $19 million if you move on from Big Ben, and you're not going to find a good quarterback at that price tag unless you trade for somebody. Okay. So Pittsburgh's in a very awkward spot where they're tight on money. They got a lot of key free agents. I wonder for this organization if you just try one more year with Big Ben and then you kind of enter a rebuilding phase. And that's part of the nature of life in the NFL. You can kick the can down the road and save money in the short term. You have to pay it out at some point. Normally the cap goes up every year, so you're fine with that. But Ben's in kind of a weird spot here.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a weird spot. So is Big Ben. We'll see what they end up doing. But this team is 100% in win-now mode. I think that they are a quarterback away from really taking it to the next level. It's something that we said last year as well. So what should Big Ben do? Type P for play, type R for retire. I'm actually going to go on the boat of retire. However,
take the $41 million.
However, if I was facing $41 million, I'd be like, you know what, man? I think I can do it.
It's a little bit less. His cap isn't what he makes, but yeah, it's like $25 or $30 million. You should play.
If your all's nickname is Little Ben and you're trying to get a Big Ben, guess what? Manscaped, they can make you look a little bit bigger and a little bit nicer. Get the perfect package, 20% off and free shipping on these awesome male grooming products that Manscaped's hooking us up with. How do you get hooked up with the deal? Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping. My favorite product, and I know Tom's favorite product as well, the Lawnmower 3.0. Fits great in your hand. That little light at the end, it helps you get into those hard-to-reach places. 8-hour battery life. You can use this thing in the shower. And one of the most underrated products that this company gives you in the perfect package, man, these boxers.
They're so comfortable.
Dude, they're wild. I've never had a cloud around my junk, but that's how I feel.
Most boxers are either like way too baggy or they ride up too much, you know? Not the case with these. It's just perfectly designed.
Also, the traveling case, if you guys plan on going anywhere, ball deodorant, ball toner. If you wear cologne, if you wear deodorant underneath your under regions, or if you're just trying to smell better, that's what these things are doing as well. If you ever walk by somebody and you get like a little bit of a crop dust and you ask them, did you fart? And they're like, no. And you're like, that might even be worse. You got some stuff going on down there. This is taking care of you. Get rid of that stank. Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping. Let's go to a guy who definitely uses Manscaped because that's the only way you have 9 kids. Phillip Rivers. Is he going to be returning?
There's actually a different reason behind that,
true.
But okay.
His pull-out game, weak by Phillip. So he's a free agent at the age of 39. Is he going to end up coming back? The Colts said that they want him to return, but Phillip, he had tears in his eyes after that game, and I think that he's seeing that, okay.
I think there are 2 reasons for that. A, Rivers knows it's at the end of his career, and he might not want to come back. And even if he does, there's no guarantee they make a playoff game next year.
Sure.
So I think he's fully aware of, shoot, this might have been my last chance. Look, again, he's going to turn 40 next season. And there is a very short list of quarterbacks who have played at that age. Now, Rivers was not bad this year. He
impressed me.
He was an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett, but in the end, there are limitations with his game.
Absolutely.
And I don't think the Colts can win the Super Bowl with him at quarterback.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
Not at this stage in his career. So for the Colts, they might try to just kind of wait another year and see, build out the rest of the roster as best they can, and maybe try to develop Jacob Eason.
No.
I know there are some Colts fans very high on Eason, which is ridiculous, but or maybe just
I'll
homerish.
say this. I watched the game this past week, and I actually thought the Colts outplayed Buffalo. I mean, if they make a field goal, if Phillip Rivers hits that fourth down touchdown, that's a 10-point swing, and I actually thought the Colts played great. They have the best offensive line in the league, a great young running back. That defense played much better than everyone gave him credit for. If you get a quarterback that can make some of those plays, get a top 10 QB, there's no reason that the Colts can't win this division and can't be one of the most dominating teams going forward because they're still pretty young.
They will explore other options. They have to. Phillip and Brissett are both free agents, so I don't know if there's a clear and obvious upgrade out there. Maybe it could end up being someone along the lines of a maybe you try to. I don't know. Is Winston an upgrade? Like
Ryan Fitz?
Is Fitzpatrick? Is Darnold?
Dak.
Dak is a no-brainer, but I don't think they get him right now. Maybe next year. Is Darnold Watson's never going to get there because Houston would never. But all of a sudden your upgrades are like, I don't know. Is Wentz an upgrade? I don't know. Maybe not. They're in a very unusual and difficult spot trying to find a franchise QB because it's not easy to actually do that.
I'll tell you what, if Carson Wentz ends up going to the Indianapolis Colts, we're going to make a video about it. And if you guys want more NFL videos, like literally NFL videos every single day, we're pumping out new vids basically every single 3 hours. If there's breaking news, we got you covered. You want some live shows Monday and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time now, 1 p.m. Pacific. But if you're just like a fiend and you're like scratching like Dave Chappelle for some NFL videos, subscribe to Chat Sports. You won't regret it. Let's talk about some more latest news, I guess, around Arthur Smith and him leaving the Tennessee Titans. So obviously Tennessee kicked out of the playoffs, lost to Baltimore. He interviewed Sunday for the Jags head coaching job, and he's also going to interview with the Jets, Falcons, Chargers, and Lions by Tuesday.
I believe this is going to be the only candidates interview for every depending on what Philadelphia does now.
True.
Who's going to interview for every single open NFL head coaching job. This is clearly one of the most popular candidates out there, and I think for pretty good reason. Not just Derrick Henry, but the growth he showed under Ryan Tannehill.
I think it's more
Adam
for
Gase
Ryan Tannehill
got
than Derrick Henry.
2 head coaching jobs, and he sucked with Tannehill. Arthur Smith should get at least one since he was good.
Yeah.
I think that logic tends to track. I think he's pretty well regarded by the NFL. So I am very curious to see where he ends up. I think the Falcons is pretty intriguing as a potential fit, by the way.
So I made a video predicting the top, I guess 6. It's going to be 7 now on which teams are going to hire. Yeah, which teams are going to hire their head coaches. I had Arthur Smith going to the Atlanta Falcons. I agree with you on that one. That I thought it made a lot of sense. So here are some other Lions interviews this week. Arthur Smith, Todd Bowles, I thought was a very interesting name. I know that this is a franchise that's obviously gone with a defensive-minded coach in which they had in Matt Patricia. I wasn't crazy about Todd Bowles. He's done a great job in Tampa Bay with a lot of talent. Wasn't the best with the Jets. Maybe it was the Jets. But then also Dan Campbell of the Saints. Out of those 3 coaches right there, I think Arthur Smith is the top one.
I agree. I think Smith isn't going to have to rush into a decision here. Yep. As for Detroit, just a quick note on them. They're taking a pretty wide berth in terms of who they're looking at for head coach and even GM.
Okay.
They still might take their time a little bit there. I'm very curious to see what Detroit ends up doing. They could go pretty much any direction, and given how bad things went with Matt Patricia and how much players didn't seem to like him, they might go safe and try and go for a culture overhaul instead.